On today's Modern Musicking Show, you're going to hear about John Legend in the Music History Moment. I'm going to get a lesson on how to make a sound on a saxophone mouthpiece. And I sit down with the Director of Marketing and Communications for the School of Music here at Carnegie Mellon University, Emily Rybinski-Benish. We close things out with another beautiful student showcase, and thanks so much for watching. Today on Jacob Random Holmes, featuring Jacob Randall Holmes. Jacob, could you play a song about Michael's hat?
Where'd you get that hat? Come on, Michael, tell us today.
Hi, and welcome to the Vlahakis Recording Studio here at the Carnegie Mellon University School of Music. Today I am joined by Emily Rybinski-Benish. We're going to talk to her today about marketing and communications at the School of Music. Thank you so much for sitting down with us.
Great being here.
So what's your official title? Did I get it close?
I'm the Director of Marketing and Communications for the School of Music here at Carnegie Mellon.
And what does that mean?
It means a whole bunch of things. So I manage the school's social media accounts. I update and maintain the school's website. I'm in charge of placing advertisements for upcoming concerts. I also do all of the event programs for concerts, and I do work with a small group of students that assist me with that. But pretty much if it's print, if it's a web, I do email campaigns. So anything that has the voice of the School of Music is me.
How long have you been doing that here? I
started August 1st of 2016.
Is this the kind of job that you had been gearing towards? I mean, you're trained to do this?
I have a mix of a background. So my previous position to this was I worked for a database marketing company specializing in working with arts and culture organizations. And so I did a lot of data analysis and geeky database things and building databases and sharing data. But really at the core of it, I love the arts and I love marketing and trying to get people to come and share stories. And I've always hoped that one day I could work in a university setting with students, because in previous jobs, I'd always been in charge of intern programs, and I just love that student idealism. So when I happened to see this job posting come across my Facebook page, I was like, hey, this seems like the perfect fit.
And were you a musician or actor or?
I have a minor in dance, in world dance. And then I've also played the oboe all through college. I sang in the college choir.
Where was that?
Denison University.
Oh. Mm-hmm. So we just happened to have had a concert last night. So it was a concert of the Philharmonic and the chorus together. What's the path towards that event? We try
to start doing community event calendar postings about 4 weeks in advance so that people can, if they're going to visit Pittsburgh or the YEP calendar, that information is out there. We will also place some print ads in the Pittsburgh Symphony program. So depending on how the timing of those concerts are and when their deadlines are, that's also usually about a month out that I'm creating advertisements. A few weeks before the concert, we'll create posters and put them up around campus. And also, about 2.5 weeks before, we'll start working on the program so that we have time to do all of the edits and get that printed in time. And throughout all of that, there's also the social media presence where we might have a student do an Instagram takeover to share their behind the scenes experience, what they're doing on a daily basis, to sort of bring the story of the preparation for that given event into a broader context of sometimes it's fun. Like we did a takeover for the first Philharmonic concert this year, and one of the most liked pictures, it was done by a trumpet player, and he had all of the trumpet players put their feet out, and they all had crazy socks on. And they took a picture of like trumpet crazy socks, and that was one of the most liked images that we've had on our Instagram account.
How do you see the use of social media enhancing what you do?
I think that social media is more of a way to sort of tell those quirky bits of a story. I think most people, they don't want to necessarily be constantly sold to through social media. And so it's how do you use social media to tell the story of what's happening and loop it back to your event in a way that engages people and makes them want to learn more about both what you're doing as an organization, but that then also gets to the end game of, wow, I've heard a lot about this concert and all these other little bits and pieces that are going on around it. Maybe I should go.
So it sort of humanizes it.
Yes.
People are kind of used to advertising, and
Yeah.
like you said, they don't like to be sold to, but if they can
Relate.
begin to develop a
Yeah.
relationship, that makes more sense. So what platforms, social media-wise, what platforms are we on?
We are primarily using Facebook and Instagram. We do have a Twitter account, and because I'm one person, I can really only do two forms really, really well. And so Twitter has sort of fallen it's sort of like a secondary social media account for us at the moment. And I'm hoping to be able to ramp that up in the coming months. We also do have a YouTube page that we live cast all of our concerts on. So if you want to, if there's a concert that you want to hear and you're either not in the area because you're an alumni or a parent, or let's say there's a freak snowstorm in Pittsburgh, you always have the option to go to the School of Music website and watch it via webcast.
Gotcha. How did you settle on Facebook and Instagram as the two primary platforms?
Personally, I think Instagram is one of the most powerful social media tools because there's something about a photo that captures, there's so much detail. It can be either really close up for close detail, or you can really focus on like what's in the background. I think the way that it can tell, the way a photo tells a story, different people can latch onto different parts of that image. And what you see in an image may be something totally different than what I'm drawn to. And so I think it's a great way to really engage people in a quick way. Facebook, it's also great because you can tell a longer story, and I think Facebook is much better for videos, to be able to share those 1 to 3 minute videos about who are our faculty members, what are they doing, to humanize the School of Music in a more personal way.
So thank you very much for watching. We are in the Vlahakis recording studio at the Carnegie Mellon University School of Music. On behalf of Emily Rubinski-Benish, I am Lance Ledoux. Thanks very much. See you next time.
Lance Learns to Play. So today on Lance Learns to Play, I'm again joined by Ben Morris. He's going to show me some more about learning the saxophone.
Yeah, absolutely. So for this part, you only need the mouthpiece, so you can go ahead and take that off of the saxophone.
Okay.
And I'm going to use a stand. Since you don't have one, when you lay the saxophone down, you lay it down not on the side that looks like it would be the best because it has no keys.
Oh.
Only because this key and this key always make contact with the ground. You lay it down on the other side and it will rest on these posts.
Oh, I see.
There's not as many keys, even though it looks very busy. This is the side.
This is still the safe because if it's
you
protected by these posts.
Yeah, it'll land on those posts, and if you bend these keys, you're sunk.
Oh.
Your saxophone needs to be repaired.
So we don't want that.
You can go ahead and lay
Especially
it down.
This is your saxophone.
Lay it down on the key. Yeah, especially. Especially, yes. So the topic we're talking about today is something that's actually near and dear to my heart, and something I've put a lot of research in and asking people about, is playing on the mouthpiece alone as a way to develop our sound and flexibility on the saxophone.
Oh.
This is something we skip a lot, and we're going to find out why in a minute. It's not super pleasant, and it's also very difficult. The saxophone, for whatever reason, smooths over a lot of the issues we have as instrumentalists. So taking away and doing it in parts, like do the mouthpiece and then the neck and the mouthpiece and then the saxophone, that's how I warm up each day.
Oh.
on the various saxophones I play every day is just to kind of, recalibrate my embouchure for that specific instrument. This is something we skip though. Beginning band, you put the instrument, you learn how to put the reed on, you learn how to put it together, and you go straight to learning notes and fingers, making whatever sound comes out. But this is a way to kind of polish a little bit before we get to that point. So, the pitch that you should, or that you aim for, is a concert A, but for beginners, whatever pitch comes out that you can hold consistently, not consistently hit.
In that octave?
It's going to be in that octave, yeah, because it'll be impossible to do anything else.
Okay.
Whatever pitch comes out, if you can hold it, keep it as steady as possible. Exactly, yeah. So this is where we find out why we don't do this, because can you imagine being a middle school band director, looking out at your class army of saxophones, and none of them can do it? And now you have to go through and figure out why each individual student is unable to do this. So it's a combination of a couple things, but yeah. So it's important to realize that playing the saxophone, I don't know a lot, there's a lot of talk about the saxophone being an easy instrument, but you cannot muscle the saxophone into doing what you want. It has to be a negotiation. So what I hear when you're blowing air through, once again, the reed might be a little hard, but I hear that there's just too much tension. It stands to reason that if you close the reed off, it doesn't matter. I mean, I can hook myself up to an air compressor and nothing will happen. So you
That'd
have
be
to,
kind of fun to watch.
right? You have to give it room to vibrate.
Okay.
So think about the things we talked about earlier. Form your embouchure. Yeah, so we got our first note, exactly. So that's telling me we're on the right track, okay? Now, say E.
Huh?
Say E.
Huh?
Huh? What?
E.
E. Can you hiss?
E.
Okay, feel how your tongue is very high in the back?
Yes.
This is a concept called voicing, or the shape of our tongue. Lots of instruments use this, but saxophone is literally built into it. So, changing the way, can you whistle? How do you change notes when you whistle?
A lot of it has to do with the tongue placement.
You're moving your
Yeah,
tongue. It's
the back
the
of the
exact
tongue.
same
The
movement.
part that you say "ka" sounds with.
Yeah, ka and back towards your molars, exactly. Like that
Right.
is the exact same movement for manipulating pitch on the saxophone. So
Okay.
keep that in mind. Raise your tongue position a little bit and get rid of vertical pressure or biting. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, okay, so this is really good actually. We've gone from being able to make absolutely no sound
Right.
to having a fairly consistent pitch.
Hmm.
The next couple steps would be, we would do that for a while. I mean, really, 5 minutes doesn't sound like a long time, but if you play for 5 minutes on this, you kind of get the basics of it. So what I would recommend to a student who's doing this and just starting, and it's also important to realize it could be a senior in high school. They could have made All-State, and they will not be able to do this if
Wow.
they've never done it. It's just such a different approach, and they might sound good, they might be able to get around the instrument and play notes and play all the ranges, but sooner or later there will be a technique they will not be able to master because something here is hidden that is wrong.
There's a parallel in brass instruments where you buzz into the mouthpiece and the horn sometimes will lock a pitch in. And if you take the mouthpiece out and you have them buzz the pitch, sometimes they're buzzing, it could be a whole step off or more, but the horn locks it into a place.
Exactly.
And so then if they buzz the pitch that is the pitch, if that makes sense, they buzz the actual pitch, then the instrument just sounds so much better.
Yeah,
so I
you
guess it's a
find the
similar
resonant-
thing. We can make a noise happen or a sound happen,
Yes.
but it doesn't mean that it's the purest or the best possible.
Exactly. That's
very
exactly
cool.
the concept. So this is very similar to that regard of brass playing, or in that regard to brass playing. But yeah, so this is something that, even I'd say seasoned professionals that have never done this would have a difficult time doing. The usage of the pitch A is kind of a general idea. Eugene Rousseau is the one who first said that we should buzz an A. There are different schools of thought that say when you play it, you should get an A every time and no other note. And then there are schools of thought that say you should be able to bend an octave, or even it's possible to bend a ninth, but you should be able to do that. I belong to the latter. I think that you should be able to move around on the mouthpiece, because what this translates to, moving your tongue position, is intonation on the saxophone. You change, I don't move my jaw when I do that. I'm
It's just
moving
tongue
my tongue.
placement?
I'm a
It's
higher
like,
syllable.
yeah.
I'm changing the vowel shape in my mouth, my voicing.
I see.
And that translates to the saxophone and tuning notes, high notes that would otherwise be sharp, bringing them down. Yeah,
Awesome.
That's why this is applicable.
There you go. How about that?
Yeah.
Very
The
cool.
best kazoo ever.
And now, a music history moment.
Hello. Today we're going to talk about John Legend. John Legend is an American singer, songwriter, and actor. John was born in 1978 and was one of 4 children. At the age of 4, he started performing with his church choir. He began playing the piano at age 7. In college, he started performing more regularly with a jazz and pop a cappella group that he started called The Counterparts. He was the president and music director of this group. He began his singing career by holding a number of shows around Philadelphia and eventually expanded to New York, Boston, Atlanta, and Washington, D.C. John Legend got his stage name from a poet, J. Ivy, who described his sound as the music from the old school. He said, "You sound like one of the legends. That's what I'm gonna call you, John Legend." John didn't really like that at first. He wasn't super into the idea of having a stage name, but after it caught on with artists like Kanye West, he just decided, all right, I'm gonna announce it as John Legend. He is a highly sought-after collaborator and has been featured on several records. He has appeared on famous albums by Fort Minor, Jay-Z, the Black Eyed Peas, Stephen Colbert, and Fergie, among others. He sang in a video for Barack Obama called Yes, We Can. John Legend received EGOT status and is the second youngest and first African American to do so.
And that was a music history moment. And now to play Defying Gravity from Wicked, here's Rizwan Jagani. You ready? Okay. I'm ready. You ready? I'm ready. You ready? I'm ready. In you go.
But don't you want to know what I end with?
No.
Don't.
It'll be fine.
Yeah.
We're good? Hey, thanks for watching the show. If you want to reach us with questions or comments, you can figure out all the ways to do that by clicking on any of those links and wherever you're watching this thing. We've had a great time putting these together and hope you find them useful as well. Thanks for watching.